Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. You welcome to the broadcast this evening. I'm so glad to be in your living room, in your car, wherever you are listening to me from. I am so excited to carry on where we left off. We've been talking on a subject matter of relationship and particularly looking at evaluating infidelity, its effects and how we cope and how do we move on and so forth. We've been looking at it from an aspect of relationships, marriages and so forth. So I'm very excited to carry on where we left off the last time. I have definitely missed you. Very important, let me get through some administrative things that I want us to get through. Make sure you have clicked on the following button. Make sure that you have liked the page. I would be so blessed if you go to my YouTube channel and you subscribe and you turn on the notifications bell there as well. Make sure you're following me throughout all my social media platforms. My name is Fortune L Online throughout all the social media platforms. I look forward to becoming your friend and to becoming your advisor and your coach. Thank you so much. God bless you. Very quickly, let's get back to it. So we've been talking about the subject matter of infidelity, and tonight is no different. We are carrying on from where we left off. We are looking at the effects of infidelity. We're going to look at some factual things that we can consider on whether or not we can survive infidelity, or you can survive infidelity, or whether somebody that you know can survive infidelity. And we're also going to move on, as this is also part of a series. We're going to look at coping mechanisms. We're going to look at whether you should actually forgive somebody as well that has cheated on you. The topic of infidelity and cheating spouses is virtually everywhere, in the social media, everywhere. You know somebody who's been cheated on, perhaps you have been cheated on, and you want to know, what do you do now that you are where you're at? Look, this topic is not something sinister or unusual or only happens to the 2%ers or with whatever the percentage. It happens to everybody. I have seen it from a legal perspective. I have seen it from a coaching perspective. I have seen it from a clergy perspective. So today, hopefully, we will get through all those aspects, even if we don't get to the legal as yet. But I want us to touch on as well what the Bible says about the issue of infidelity and how you can cope with it and how you can survive it, should you survive it, and so forth, as I said. So all of us, one way or the other, you know of somebody who has been cheated on, you know of somebody who is currently cheating on somebody, and you don't know how to handle it, right? So it's no surprise that many couples are asking themselves, or somebody in that relationship is asking themselves, how would I cope? How would you cope? That is the question that I want us to ask ourselves, right? If the situation were to happen to you, how would you cope? How would you survive, right? It's common for people to think that, oh, maybe infidelity happens when you are in an unhappy relationship or an unhappy marriage. Not so. It is not only set aside for the unhappy or the bad relationships. We need to keep in mind that it is not an aberration that only happens in unhappy relationships or unhappy marriages. It happens to everybody. And also, I want us to dispel the myth that it only happens to a relationship where there's a faulty spouse. Somebody must have done something. But there are many situations or factors that can position a relationship to be headed towards infidelity. For example, when you're going through sexual distancing, where you're going through emotional distancing, you have become emotionally distant from your partner, you have become sexual distant from your partner. It can be a problem. It can be an alarm bell that you are vulnerable. You are more likely to have infidelity in your relationship, right? So affairs really have many sources, and opportunity can present themselves anywhere from every direction. In workplace situations, when people are working together, when they are away on conferences, it can present itself. So there are certain predisposing factors, yes, we need to look at as well. Okay, so one of the things I want us to first look at is certain facts that arise because of infidelity. Firstly, I want to validate your feelings and tell you that it's okay. You are hurting. Forgiveness is good, and we're going to go a bit deeper into that to understand the issue of forgiveness, to understand how it works both ways and so forth. So yes, you are hurting. It's important to mourn the thing that has really upset you. You are hurting. That is a fact that arises out of infidelity. It is not easy. It's not an easy peasy. You're not going to wake up. You're not going to just stand in the mirror and say, oh, I'm not hurt. I'm okay. I'm just blah di da da da. Right? You are hurting. It's not easy. You're probably feeling feelings of anger. You feel like crying. Cry. Cry, my sweetheart. Cry, cry. Whether you're a guy, whether you're a woman, there is nothing that can, don't tell yourself, I'm a tiger, I will not cry. Cry away, cry. Buy boxes of tissues, cry, cry, cry. And yes, there's a reality that depression is likely. You can go through depression, and it's very important to get help in that kind of situation, right? And you will need to take time to heal. That is another fact. You need time to heal. You will need time to heal. You will need time to work on, or rather decide to trust again. It's not easy. If you're choosing to continue with the same person, or you're choosing to even continue with an idea that you're going to be in a relationship, you need to understand that you will need to trust again. And trust is built and rebuilt. If you are a spouse or a partner in a relationship and you are the one who was in the wrong and you have committed infidelity, understand that there is a process the other person has to go through to rebuild the trust, and to rebuild that kind of space that you guys were in. It's not easy. So don't expect them to just overnight accept your apology and everything looks like it's okay and nothing ever happened, right? So the person who has cheated, you need to take responsibility. You need to stop blaming. Don't say it's because you are not sexually appealing, you are not doing this, blah, blah, blah. Stop blaming the other party, for goodness sake. You cheated. Take responsibility. Be remorseful enough, right? So you need to be responsible. Don't blame anybody else. Don't blame your workplace. Don't blame your stress. Don't blame financial pressures. No, you cheated, right? Right? And it will take the victim to also taking responsibility for any underlying issues, right? What are the underlying problems in marriage that you might have been contributory to? Yes, I've said in the same token, the other person should not blame, but you, as the person who has been cheated on, you also need to take responsibility and look at the aspects of checking whether, what has, thank you very much, what is the reason, right? What is the reason? What are the things that you have probably been contributory to that led you to this space, that there's issues? Yes, there are predisposing factors that have come up. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So it will take serious commitment from both of you to save that relationship. Both parties, it will take serious commitment to save that relationship, right? Sometimes it may be necessary that you will need to seek professional help to process what has happened. You will need to seek professional help to process what has happened, right? So you need to seek somebody professional. Some people, I realize that some people, if the woman says we need to go for counseling, the men might be very hesitant. They don't want that professional help. Be open. You can't be fixer of everything by yourself. It's almost like me as a pastor saying, I'm going to fix my own problem. Sometimes as your own doctor, you can't doctor yourself. You need to go to the other doctor that can doctor you so that you can see things from a different perspective. All right? Yes, it's possible. A marriage can survive an extramarital affair. Should it? I don't know. That's what we want to find out. A relationship can survive an extramarital or an affair, so to speak. Let me put it an affair, because when you're not married, somebody's already cheating, and maybe you really need to evaluate whether you should be continuing with that person. Because once you say I do, you bring in certain new complications and so forth. So you need to reevaluate whether you want to go all that whole way, right? And obviously you want to get to a point where you are healing. And healing will only come about when you start developing certain skills, right? You need to start interacting in a different way. And what are those things that you will need to do? How will you need to interact, right? You need to now be real. You need to open up and share deep things, deep emotional things. You need to have deep emotional conversations with each other. You need to express your underlying emotions. You need to be vulnerable with one another. Say exactly what you feel. Say exactly how the other person made you feel. Say exactly how you see things, how you want things to be bettered, especially when people become sexually distant from one another. You need to communicate with each other. If you don't have that language where you communicate what it is that you want from each other, you need to work on those things. Okay? You need to stop the blame game, stop denial, stop the denialism that there's nothing wrong that you did or there's nothing wrong that you're contributing. Explore the underlying patterns that you've been going through. There's certain patterns of behavior that you all have been going through. Explore them. Explore the vicious cycles that keep landing you in the same arguments, the same situation over and over again. What are those vicious cycles of communication that trigger you guys to be like distant from one another and do all sorts of things? Guys, relationships are a work. It's a full-time job that you all need to be working on. It's not a one-sided thing. If you want this thing to work, if you are truly going to survive this storm called infidelity, this storm called adultery, this storm called cheating, you will need to all work on it, right? You will need to be willing to forgive the pain, the hurt. Forgiveness is not easy. And when you're choosing to forgive, you're going to have to work on making sure that you're not raising the issue again and again to the person's face and keep on reminding them, hey, you don't forget you did this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, at the beginning, the people may slip up and be reminding you of that. Just be patient with them, right? You need to be completely honest. If you're going to ask for forgiveness, if you are repenting on something, please, if they want the details, give it to them. Don't say, why do you want to know the specifics? Are you truly repentant? Do you know how sad and how irritating it is to meet the other woman or the other man who tells you the details of things that, you know, your spouse was supposed to be open about and they were not? And you then begin to realize that this person is more committed to this other person and sharing things that are very deep and secret with somebody else except the person that you're actually in a relationship with, the person that you promised to marry, the person you promised forever to. Right? You will need to look at all the baggage that you all are carrying, all the emotional baggage that got you to this place where there is cheating, where there is infidelity. Right? So, and you need to realize that some of these feelings that you will be going through during this whirlwind, during this storm, they will be more prominent. They will be more prominent, especially with married couples. There will be, you know, that shame, that guilt, because remember, you guys went and publicized your wedding. We are married. Some of you decided to get rings and you decided to flaunt your rings and you decided to tell everybody, hey, I'm married, my husband. You've been going around, my husband this, my wife this, blah, 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 blah. And you've been braggadocious about this beautiful relationship that you have, the children that you have. And suddenly the other party cheats, commits adultery. Now suddenly you are overwhelmed with so much shame because now you cannot hold your head up high. You cannot even go to church anymore because now you're worried that people that have been looking at me and saying you've been raising your hand and doing the hallelujahs with your fingers and everything. Now you can't talk anymore. You're feeling guilty. Other people are blaming you. The spouses, relatives are blaming you. Can you imagine? You didn't even do anything, but they are blaming you. As if you are the cause. You are the cause. You're the one that made him do that. You are the one that made her to be like this. They were not wild. Because parents will always be on the defensive to protect their children. Feelings of anger, hurt, disappointment, rage. You are enraged. You want to do something. You want to revenge. Be careful. Embarrassment. You're embarrassed because you were talking at work, you were talking about how your husband can never cheat, how your wife is very faithful. Boom, they know more than what you know. Feelings of jealousy. Now you are acting out of jealousy. Somebody just greets your spouse, you just fume, you just explode. You are triggered very easily. You are walking in public, somebody turns around and sees somebody beautiful and they cannot even comment because now the feelings of jealousy come up. You are suspecting. You are driving with your husband. You're pulling up at a robot and they look the other side and then suddenly, boom, jealousy comes. You are battling feelings of lust. You are battling feelings of resentment. You are battling feelings of denial. There's mistrust. Trust is broken. How do you navigate forgiveness? Right? And when do you decide to stay or not to stay? You are now at this point. You're going through all these feelings. Everything is just irritating you. You are fighting. Do I go on? Don't I go on? Do I stay or do I go? Do I kick the bucket? Do I go? What have you got to lose? Here's my encouragement to you. Your relationship, your marriage can survive. Yes. However, there are some marriages, there are some relationships that are not meant to be saved. And I hope my expert is going to weigh in on this. There are some relationships that are not meant to be saved. What are those type of relationships? In my view, if your relationship or your marriage has symptoms of domestic violence, run. Do not collect any money. Do not open, that Monopoly game. Do not collect anything. Run. Domestic violence. Do not wait until you are a statistic of GBV violence. Do not wait until you are a statistic and you are on the death records because you chose to stay way too long. You don't stay when your life is threatened, when you are in fear. You do not stay when there is repeated emotional abuse where you can see this one is a serial. I don't even know whether I will stay beyond one emotional abuse. Maybe you forgive the first round. You don't feel safe to work through your feelings, your emotions. You can't talk through your problems because every time you try and talk through your problems, the person just comes hailing down on you like a ton of bricks that they are always the right one. You don't know what you're talking about. A woman doesn't talk like this. I don't know. Is it not submission when I ask about my feelings and I want to talk through my emotions? I don't know. I want my expert to answer this today. They are entrenched issues that we need to evaluate, guys. We need to check on this. Do I throw in the towel or not? Let me bring in my expert tonight to weigh in on this. When do I stay? When do I go?
Thank you for inviting me to this program. When do I stay and when do I leave? It's an awesome question. Looking at the question demands a decision. Mm-hmm. When do I stay? When do I leave? And the when do I, the word when, we are looking at time frame. So it's someone who has been in a relationship, patient in a relationship, and now they've gone through so much that they're asking themselves, is this still worth it? Like I always say, relationships is not all about the emotion. The most painful thing about relationships is the time invested. Mm-hmm. Because if it's money, you can work out more money. Memories, you can recreate memories. Recreate memories that can cover other memories. The Bible tells us about Joseph. He gave birth to a son, and the Bible says, the Lord has made me to forget of my pen. That was the name of his other child. So you can get to a place where you can recreate memories. But when do you leave? And when do you stay? Mm-hmm. The issue of staying, it's all about personality. Do you want to stay? Mm-hmm. And you have also to ask yourself a question, why are you staying? There has to be a reason why many people stay. And sometimes your reason might not be a valid reason why you are staying. Certain people, they might say, I'm staying because of my children. In the same way you are breaking the children, they are seeing an example of what they feel is love, what they think will be marriage. And you might see yourself creating a generation of abusive people. Why? Because what they see is what they think is love, what they think is a relationship. So the moment someone shows no sign of remorse, I think that is a red flag. The moment someone shows no sign of, because you can't change a person. For people to change is their decision. So the first thing is the sign of remorse, because that's the reason why people get into relationships. Love is not just a word. Love is not just an emotion, it's a decision. That you love a person despite they wake up in the morning and their face is not looking fine. You love a person despite that they've been involved in an accident. It's a decision. Are you deciding to keep on giving this person your heart and they are continuing to break it? Are they remorseful about it? Because at the end of the day, you are praying to God for God to change a person, and God is saying, what do you want me to change? This person has decided to be who they are. So infidelity kills, it destroys. There is a there is a story that people are talking about, if you know about the Dubai issue, where where people are getting to they are saying ladies are going there, they are getting money out of certain people doing despicable things on them. Oh, and there is another issue that's happening in Zimbabwe. It's just a hearsay where people are being cut their toes. So yesterday I was asking someone, and I said, you know that my tooth is painful, I need a holiday. They said, I don't have money. I said, so rather go and they cut your toe for me on my place and give me that money. They said, oh, but I rather do Dubai. I said, why? Because the person said, because it does not leave evidence. It does not leave what?
Evidence.
So the concern there was the issue of evidence. But this was my response. I said, emotional damage can never be healed.
It can never be healed. It's sometimes more rooted, and it just takes forever.
It takes forever because you have been destroyed inside.
True.
So if you are destroyed on the outside, there is still plastic surgeries. There is a way you can manage. But when you are destroyed inside, that is your being. Your character is affected by what's happening inside. Your responses to things are affected by what happens inside. If you look at a person who has been raped before, if they get into a room where there are a lot of people, they are not comfortable. Because whatever happened to them affected and traumatized them. They always want to be alone. They don't want to be in situations that they are so much pressured, because whatever that happened to them, it happened out of pressure. Somebody pressured them to do it. So that hate inside is more damaging more than anything else.
So how do we navigate that point when you can just see that this thing is just bad inside? You just all messed up inside. Do we time out? Do we separate? What do we do? Because surely it's not living, being in a relationship, but still you're just not trusting. And how long? Is there a cutoff point?
But what does the Bible say? Adam and Eve were in the garden and they were both naked. So if you can't be open to your partner, then what are they partnering with you in?
What is the partnership?
Because the Bible says that, and two shall become one. And they shall become one flesh. It means what hates me must hate you. So if there is that disconnection that you can hate me and you don't feel you hate yourself. You know, when people are in a relationship, sometimes you might try to be strong when you hate your partner, but somewhere, somehow you'll be told, why can't you just make up things? You are on the wrong. Because you are one. Because
I hear you.
You decide to be the person who you are. So it is a decision. If you can't talk about it, then there is nothing to live for. If I can't be me in front of you, I can't fake it. I can't live my life faking, covering emotions, getting to be having a chameleon character, deceiving myself just to make you feel good.
That's
you didn't
true.
help me.
That's
you
true.
didn't help me. No, don't worry. It's because of me. The reason you are doing this is because I'm not bad. No. They decide to do so. When you get to be in a relationship with the person, you know that you are loving them with their weakness. You are loving them with their jokes that are not laughable. You are loving them with their character. You know that you didn't grow up with them, so they are not your mother, they are not your father, they are not your sister, they are not your brother. So that is why on relationships, I always say, you need to be very careful of your expectations.
Be careful of your expectations.
Because the person you're getting in a relationship with was not born in your father's house.
Yes.
So they have certain things they think they are good that are not right.
And they're not your carbon copy. So
They are not your carbon copy. They can't be you.
they can't be you.
And don't demand.
And that's the reason why opposites attract.
Don't demand them to be you. The difference is what you must celebrate. Because
Celebrate the
it
differences.
makes
Very
you to
key,
be
guys.
better.
Make a note of that.
The difference is what you must celebrate because it makes you better. Now, look at this. This is a question. If everyone was to be like you, what would the world become?
Very boring.
If everyone was going to
Well,
be
very
an engineer-
nice. But it would be very boring. It's uneventful.
If everyone was going to be an engineer, who was going to be the doctor?
Precisely.
So you have to celebrate the difference. That person
That's
will
true.
make you to know certain things, make you to be better. And by the way, marriage is like a mirror. Now, have you realized when you get to be in a relationship, unknowingly you become like the person you got married to?
True.
If you check, you will realize that sometimes if you are not careful, your wife will start behaving like your mother. That the reason why sometimes mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws fight is because all of them, there is a transmogrification that happens that they start acting the same. They start demanding the same attention.
Jesus.
If you listen to the statements, they are the same. So at the end of the day, you ran away from being in that environment, and the environment you ran away from is now in front of you. Whatever you ran away from your family, you begin to see it. I'm telling you, certain people are not psychopaths. They are just showing you who you are.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
They're just showing you who you are. Sometimes someone can hold on to the trauma you make them go through to a point that you create a beast in a sheep. Because the more they're trying to stay, the more they're trying to hold on, there is a layer that is building up in them. That at the end of the day, the person they are becoming is more dangerous. Because in as much as they want to stay, they also have to protect themselves. So in protecting themselves, there is a character that is to come out. Take anything that is living, put it under pressure, you'll be surprised. Take a cat, put it on a corner, pressurize it, you'll be surprised how it will bring out the nails. Take a bird, put it on a corner, you'll be surprised how it will live, how it will raise its wings and starts using its legs and wings to fight. So the moment you are in a relationship and you are being turned into something you are not for the West, that's the first thing you should use, or the first thing you should teach to say, I'm getting out.
I'm out. Don't turn me into what I'm not.
You have to get out. If it's not for the best, you have to get out.
In marriage, Apostle, how do we deal with it?
People get to mistaken certain things. Marriage is a covenant. Once the covenant is broken, there is no marriage.
Jesus. So covenant in the context of the same as a legal contract, right?
Marriage is a
You
covenant.
break the contract, it's done.
It is the same with God. The Israelites break the covenant, they are given into the hands of the Philistines, the Moabites, the Jebusites, the Hittites. Yes. If you don't tithe, there is a covenant. The Bible says, I will send the devourer.
So is there no point of renegotiation? Because in the legal context, we've got what we call the default clause or the breach clause, where if you are in breach, we can come back and talk. We give each other certain time periods and say, okay, fix this or else I'm out.
That is why.
When do we fix it?
No. That is why in our times they've brought what is called separation.
Okay.
But
Is separation good though?
But now, what happens is, what is separation? If we have already separated, what will make us to join together, especially if God is not involved? The fact that we have separated is a sign. Because if things are working together, we can work it out while we are still together.
So what you're saying is that there's still room to renegotiate and see whether we're working it out, but we're not separating. Let's stay in it and let's check whether we are going.
Here's the question: how much do you want it?
How much do you want it? And the other person has to want it as much.
How much do you want it?
Is it good enough for them to just tell me, I want to make it work? Forgive me, darling.
Whatever you want to work, you need to have proper instruments to make it work.
Okay.
You need to have proper knowledge to make it work.
Okay.
You can't work out.
Take me through the instruments. Take me through this instrument. What do I need?
What is love? There has to be patience. There have to be long suffering.
Okay.
There have to be forgiveness. You have to be considerate of one another. You have to give me room to be me, because in as much as I get married to you, I still have to be me.
And technically, if you've been with this person for a while, you basically know how they're doing on that instrument level.
No.
It's not a mystery.
How long have you been doing mathematics? And still you can't work it out. Even the mathematics you passed last time, you can fail it now. There is no way you know a human being, because I tend to vicissitudinously change depending on what I'm going through. So the me you think you know differs depending on environment, depending on where are we. I can be talkative and be quiet at the same time depending on where we are. It does not mean that I've changed. I'm a human being. The heart does not know what it wants. You have bought so many things in the shop that you do. You when you arrived home, you didn't need them. You ask yourself, why did I buy them? So there is an experimental journey that everyone goes through when they are in a relationship.
Amazing.
We all experiment different things. Experiment how you are to love. Experiment how you are to do things. There is just a lot that will be happening.
That's powerful.
You experiment a lot of things. Today you are happy. You are saying, okay, if I bring this character, how are we going to gel? Because remember, even as you grow, you change. There's a time you would want to go out as you are growing. There's a time you love to go shopping. There's a time you don't want to go anywhere. There's a time you want to exercise. There's a time now you are looking at, I just want to build and be serious. So you will always change as you grow. Not just growth in age, but also a relationship grows. There's a point where fleeting is the priority. There's a point where planning is the priority. There's a point where responsibility is the priority. There's a point where building is the priority. And these are different kinds of people. A plan and a builder are different people.
I hear you.
So you have, every human being has a lot of personalities, but it's how do we work out things together for us to merge?
Gotcha.
For us to merge. If you are a woman, we're still married to a pastor. Let's use that one. It means you are a girl because every woman still wants to be a girl. That's why you see you still have your toys, your makeup, pedicure, epicure, eyelashes, eyebrows.
Epicure, I don't know that.
Whatever that it is, you know, pawns, yes, pulling socks, everything that you can put, your toys, your Peruvian, Brazilian, not Bella. and you want to be a girl, and you want to be a girlfriend. I'm talking about a married person. You want to be the girlfriend. You still want to act like a girlfriend because that is what brings the spark.
The spark to yeah. The
so
fire must still burn.
You still want to look good. You want to be the girlish. And by that time, you don't need him. It's you. That's why when you are on the mirror, you are the most happiest. He's not there. You are the girl. You want to be the girlfriend, looking good for him. The third thing, you want to be a wife. Responsibility. Help him build. If you have children, you're going to be a mother. That's the fourth thing. You're going to be a mother. If married to a pastor, you are going to be mom Ruti, mom pastor. And on that one, it's not just about him. It's not just about your children. It's not just how you look good. There are other people involved. And the sixth thing, you're going to be a daughter-in-law. These are 6 different personalities in one person.
Jesus.
So it depends with where you are. There is a point I can confront my wife when we are together. But it's different from how I can confront her when we are in front of my family, because she's not my wife now, she's a daughter-in-law.
Yes. And you need to be perceptive of that, guys. Be careful how you treat each other in different settings, in public and in families as well.
So, if a person does not consider you, why are you staying there?
If a person does not consider you, why are you staying? That is the question you need to ask.
Why are you staying there?
I get you.
We don't advocate divorce. But what we advocate are healthy marriages. You can't be with a person who being with you. Okay, the other point. If you are not in their plan for the future, you are in the wrong place.
If you're not in their plans for the future, exit.
You are in the wrong place, because if you are not in the plan, you are not part.
You're wasting time.
And if you are not part, you are replaceable.
If you are not part, you are replaceable. Bomb. I like that.
You are
Drop mic.
So that's how it is. And there are boys.
There's some powerful nuggets we're getting here.
Yes, and also there are boys. You know, there are boys. You get married, you mature into that marriage. I always give an example that marriage is like a staircase. Marriage is like a staircase.
Marriage is like a staircase. You know, I get you.
It's like a staircase. When I get married to a person, we start on the first step. We start climbing the step until we go to the upstairs. Maybe that's when we have children and everything. Now, you begin to understand that many women were married and they went on the stairs and the men came downstairs to be a bachelor again. And they are there taking care of the children, but the man is now down there, is now a bachelor.
He's just descended from that place. He left you there alone, being mommy and
you are now,
all this responsibility.
You are now in a place where I can say you are married to yourself.
Yes, you are mommy and daddy at the same time. You are wifey and husband to yourself.
You are married to yourself. The moment you only comes to is, I want intercourse. I want sex. And
you're just a vessel for sex.
No, as a pastor, I have to speak it as it is. Once a person takes you to be like that, then they don't value you. Because if it's only about sex, there are people that are selling their bodies out there. It means I'm replaceable.
That's powerful.
I'm replaceable. So we have to look at all these aspects. Let's look at if a person becomes abusive. Why are they becoming abusive? They become abusive. Abusive is abnormal usage.
If you use me abnormally.
You are abnormally using your authority as the husband.
I get you.
Or as the wife.
Sure, this is a lot.
You are abnormally using your authority or your privilege. So in that regard, if you are abnormally using your right, in a country we call that dictatorship.
And in a relationship, there's no room for dictatorship.
There's no room for dictatorship.
If you came and you want to be dictator, we are relating. We are not dictating.
How do you dictate if we are to relate?
Relate, guys. This is powerful.
How are we to communicate?
Are you being related to or are you being dictated to?
What
Exit.
What are you dictating? What are you dictating? Are you even principals ask questions? What are you dictating? You got to be with me. You found me living my life, and I was doing just all right. So
My
the reason why
gosh.
God made people to be together, so that a woman is a helper, and also a man is being helped by a woman, and they are building something. So if we can't relate, how will I help you?
I hear you, sir.
Do you know that when you have a helper in the house, you have to allow them to speak? Sometimes tell you, oh, the way you are doing things, it's your house, but the reason why we are having ants is because of this.
Yes.
Because they are the ones that are cleaning. So if you can't, there is a statement that says, be careful of a man who can't listen to their wife.
Wow. Be careful of a man who cannot listen to their wife.
Be very
You are
careful.
not a law unto yourself. You need to listen to your wife.
And as a woman, be careful of a man who can't listen to God.
As a woman, be careful of a man who cannot listen to God. Guys, this is good nuggets. I am so excited. I'm concerned about time a little bit because I think we should continue this discussion in the next series where we are going to be talking about giving the person a second chance again. So I think this will overlap definitely. So permit me guys, I've seen the questions that you are putting in the comment section. I am going to take them. Some of them I will do video answers on them, but some of them I'm going to fill them to my experts again, and we're going to talk. Remember to call in, remember to inbox, remember to use the WhatsApp number is 0815747274, 0815747274. If you're outside of South Africa, please put the +27 and you remove the 0, so it's +27815747274. We will make sure we put it up on the topic stages so that you can see what it's all about. But I just want to really thank all my experts that always come through on the broadcast, and my resident expert today, Apostle Mara. You are amazing. Thank you so much for all these nuggets, and I'm looking forward to continuing this discussion with you guys. Should you throw in the towel, what's the stake? You guys have heard my comments, you've heard the comments from Apostle Mara. You go and sit down, digest, take the nuggets, take it to God, sit down and really check where are you on this whole mix, and what is it that you want, and decide, are you in his future? Are you really being prioritized? Are they talking to you and about you, right? Is this infidelity that has happened in your life a one-time event, or is it something that has been repeating itself, happening time and time again, right? Is this a pattern of ongoing cheating? I don't know. Check yourself. Do you want to live like that, where you are with a partner that is obviously always they are just a serial cheater? Do you need to throw in the towel? And one of the things that I've heard what Apostle was saying also this evening is that we need to check whether the partner feels indifferent towards us. If your partner is just indifferent, they're just checked out, and you are just in love with the idea of that you are being in love with this relationship that is really not there. You have married yourself. This is really, for me, it's exit. If there is no more intimacy, there's complete lack of intimacy, the thing is gone, guys. You can't relate in the bedroom. You can't relate even emotional intimacy. Exit. Does your partner treat you badly or indifferent? As I say, it might be an opportunity for an exit. Has all the forgiveness, all the hope and patience in your heart run out? There comes a time when you know that there's no more forgiveness room, there is no more hope, there's no more patience. You're just done. There's a time when they say when a person is done, they are done. When you are just up to here, you are no longer here. You are beyond this water level. You are now here. You have drowned. You are finished. You've checked out. You don't even have the strength to shout anymore. You don't have the strength to say anything. You just want out, right? This thing has just gone on way too long a history of infidelity, too long a history of abuse. You are being abnormally used. You have not intended to be used in that particular way, right? You have nothing left to give for your marriage. You have nothing left to give for that relationship. Guys, it's okay. It might be very well time for you to throw in the towel. Throw in that towel if you need to get out. Get out while there's still time. Get out before you say I do. Get out before you see the lobola being finished, because sometimes you just want to go through the experience and say I was married. Listen, it's not worth it. It's not worth your peace. If it costs you your peace, it costs too much. Let me say that again. If it costs you your peace, it costs too much, right?
And if you can't pray together, you can't stay together.
Jesus, did you hear that nugget? If you cannot pray together, you cannot stay together. You cannot stay together, right? Really, guys, sit down and really check everything. The person is no longer being transparent with you. They are not open with you. They can't talk to you, right? You don't have access. Everything concerning them is a secret. They're like the FBI. They're like, it's like Fort Knox. You don't even get to touch anything. You can't touch their laptop. You can't touch their phone. Check those people, guys. That's just not the way to live, right? Look at the signs. The signs are there. Some of you are still at the point you are saying, I don't think he's cheating. I don't think the signs could possibly be there. If you need to get help, get help. If you need to talk to your pastor, talk to your pastor. But I appeal, when you're going to seek out help, please be ready to take the advice. Don't just seek out help for the sake of the process. Be ready to be confrontational with what you're really feeling and what you're really living with, so that you can be helped. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Fortune Lahwabe. I'm from Pretoria in South Africa. My name is Fortune L Online on social media handles. Do make sure that you follow me and you click that notification bell so that you get all the notifications. Set the time every Saturday, 7 o'clock to be here. Make sure you come to my page every single day. There will be new content always posted. God bless you. I love you. Goodbye.